holidays, everybody. Please stay safe. I have some updates to bring to you. Wendy Williams has been seen in Florida out and about with her nephew. She was stopped at a restaurant to order food, and it was filmed. Uh, she was sitting in the back seat of a black SUV. What has been said is that she appears to look healthy. So is she still under a guardianship by Miss Morrissey? If not, who is her guardian? Is it a relative, a friend? A few months ago, we heard and saw a picture of her out in New Jersey at a herbal store, and she was with her son at that time. So is she still under guardianship? What is her worth at this moment? Does she still have a substantial amount of money? Who's over her funds? And is this Miss Morrissey still her guardian? What is going to happen to her? Now, naturally, people can have dementia or some type of dementia and still have things in their names, such as their home, their cars, their funds. So when I get an update to any of that type of information, I will bring you that update. Hannah Kobayashi. It has been stated that she crossed back into the USA yesterday, Sunday. She appeared fine through Customs and Border Patrol. So when she crossed back in, where exactly did she cross back in? Coming out of Mexico. Is she going to stay in the southern region, such as California, or is she going to go back to Hawaii? What is her state of mind? And will she ever speak to the public to give a reason why she left without notifying friends? The version of her money and identity being taken. What's the truth to that? The GoFundMe that was raised. The family said part of that money was going to go towards burying her father. Also, how did she feel about her father unaliving himself because she was missing? A lot of questions, but no answers. And I find it interesting that when they said she was found days ago, they didn't want to give the public any information to her whereabouts, which is suspect to me and probably others as well. Why not tell, hey, we found her in Mexico. She's alive. She's okay. She's going back here, there. It just looks fraudulent all the way around. You're entitled to your opinion on that said information, but in my opinion, it sounds fraudulent from the top to the bottom, from the bottom to the top, just because you can't ask the public for help, and then you allegedly find the person, and then it's, oh, well, I'm not going to tell you where we found her and where she was staying, and it's too evasive under the circumstances of Los Angeles Police Department getting involved to hunt her. Now, LAPD says the case is closed. It's over with. And they gave us that rendering over a week ago when it was told that she crossed over to Mexico and they got footage of her crossing. Now, the family should feel effed up right now because you were the main one saying you didn't believe it was her going over there. So you found her, so where did you find her? I doubt you found her in Texas. I doubt you found her in the U.S. because she was found in Mexico as it was reported. And you ought to feel really jacked up right now. Yes, you have egg on your face because you were trying to basically tell the world that the LAPD got it wrong, that wasn't her crossing over. Well, she had to have crossed over in order for her to cross back. Just more nonsense with these people. That's the reason why I didn't want to continue talking about her. Once it was said that she crossed into Mexico, there was nothing left to talk about. Nothing. And as I said, she was risking her life going down there. Elderly white couple have just been murdered down there. Why go to Mexico for what? And this white couple lived down there, and they were unalived. We need not even ask why. It don't even matter why. They're dead. So why go down there? For what? And alone? So it makes you wonder if all this was planned. She already had a place booked, a room, a hotel, Airbnb. I don't know. But I don't suspect that we'll ever get the truth. To me, she's just another Papini. Ciphered out her account because she had to have money to buy a ticket from one to the other and have a place to stay for the past couple of weeks. And Crescent City has Alec Baldwin starring in it, Terrence Howard. The other fella, I can't remember his name, but he's been seen in a lot of movies as well, Hispanic fella. Please check out those two movies, Crescent City and Married a Baller. Both are very, But pretty good movies. I watched them yesterday, so they're on my community page if you need information. Let's get to this story. 2-part live, TikTok, and this case of some boys living on a porch in Detroit. As most of you know, Detroit has harsh weather in the winter, and there's no reason for children to be on a porch. I'm going to play you 2 videos pertaining to these children. And then the second part of this live is pertaining to the TikTok ban here in the United States. Check the polls on my community page. Pertaining to TikTok, should it be banned in the U.S., and also should it be banned worldwide? News 2 is the source. Detroit, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the Vote Excel. Happy holidays, everybody. Thank you.
Why were teen boys sleeping outside, and how long have they been there?
Neighbors were concerned, and now community advocates are getting involved. Fox 2's Jessica Dubneck is live with the new details. And what else have you learned at this point, Jessica? It's just heartbreaking.
It really is. We've been the weekend with, as you say, some community members got involved and started to gain some momentum. Now, we do have an update from Detroit police that the 12 and 15-year-old boy that was sleeping out in the porch while their parents slept inside last night. They went with Detroit police. They were taken to family friends' homes, so they have a warm place to stay, at least for the short term. Detroit police now working with that family along with CPS to see if they can come up with a more long-term solution. But apparently these kids, they've been sleeping out on the porch since July. Like it was routine. We watched this 15-year-old walk down the block on the porch and settle in for the night. And last Saturday, same thing.
Hey, y'all. Hey. Yeah. What's up, man? Y'all all right, man?
From under a lump of blankets, wrapped in a coat, the 15-year-old boy pops up, sleeping on the porch at his West Side Detroit home. With the wind chill, it felt like 15 out.
Man, you want to go get something to eat or something, man? Like, there's a lot of people trying to help y'all, bro. The child himself told me that he'd been in July.
12 and 14-year-old brothers. The older one told local podcast host Mark DeAndre last Saturday that he's been sleeping on the porch for 5 months, and sometimes his brother does too, while their parents live inside. Neighbors we talked to corroborated.
In July, it was 80, 90 degrees. Now it's 20 degrees. You know what I'm saying? They be out there at nighttime. Like the other night, I seen them walk up and go on the porch. Like, that's it.
The neighbors and Mark offered the kids food, money, and shelter. They wouldn't take it.
I don't know if they, like, brainwashed at this point, you know what I'm saying? Because who want to be sleeping on a porch?
We have been trying to get answers all day and night out here from the kids' parents. Oh, yeah. Shoes, blankets, toothbrush. This is the craziest thing I've seen. It's set up like an actual bedroom on the porch. Oh, look. At least they got those. That's nice. No one ever answered the door Monday. We did some digging. House is registered to a local pastor at a Baptist church less than a mile from the house off Leslie Street near Dexter. He's allegedly their dad. Detroit police have been called to the home multiple times, even Saturday when Mark got involved.
I called the police, and the police pulled up real quick, and they told me that there was pretty much nothing that they could do because nothing illegal was going on there.
DPD made meeting with the kids' parents priority, sending officers to the home Monday night where they met with the family for hours. In a statement, they said any evidence of negligence on the part of the parents will be thoroughly investigated and, if appropriate, referred to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. Neighbors and Mark have been told sleeping outside is some kind of punishment for the kids.
We don't want to wait till these kids freeze to death to do something.
It is another chilly night here on Detroit's west side. Those kids reportedly staying with family friends, at least for the short term. But again, Detroit police are involved. Children's Protective Services also involved. And you heard from DPD. It's very possible that this case could be sent to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office to see if any laws were broken on behalf of those parents. Reporting live on Detroit's west side, Jessica Dubneck, Fox 2 News.
Well, I'm sure there's people at home saying, there's punishment and holding kids accountable, but then there's also crossing the line, and it sounds like these parents may have gone too far. Do we know if there's been any sort of history at that house or any sort of abuse in the past? Has CPS been involved?
So my social media was blowing up with people who know the family, some different reports of maybe some behavioral issues being consistent within the home, possibly even the kids wanting to stay outside for part of the time. But regardless, they're 12 and 15 years old. The parents inside, they can't be sleeping on the porch regardless of the situation or any behavioral issues. So we will absolutely stay on top of this one. A lot of eyes watching now.
Okay, so this is crazy, this story. Absolutely crazy. Sorry about that, everybody. Gonna drop the screen down for just a second. Okay. Behavioral issues. Were there behavioral issues of the children? Go to my community page. Behavioral issues. Were there behavioral issues? See, where I have the problem is the obvious. I don't care that there were behavioral issues. Because you're supposed to go get help. Call the state, call a relative, call somebody. And the fact that this man who owns the house is allegedly a pastor, people should be looking at you some type of way and side-eyed to why you would have your children sleeping outside. Why would you have your children sleeping outside, number one? Is he married? How many children do they have total? How many children are living in a house? How many people live in a house? How long have they lived at that house, okay? So it looks bad as have more objectiveness in your life, in your demeanor. How many children are we talking total? You saw a raggedy looking toothbrush out there like somebody had been shining shoes with it. Bristles or disarray on the toothbrush. So how are they brushing their teeth? And the toothbrush looks old because for your toothbrush to have bristles scattered around, you've been using that toothbrush a long time. So then you have to ask that question about hygiene, taking a bath, shower, eating. Allegedly they were going in a house to eat, I'm assuming, and to take a bath, but then go back outside. That makes no sense. I'm going to let you come back in the house to eat and bathe, but then you want to go back outside. So which is it? You wanted them to sleep outside, eat only, bathe only in the house, but then go back outside? And this allegedly went on from August up until 2 weeks ago. The children are allegedly with family, a friend or so. So one's going to say, well, why weren't they with these people in the beginning? If you felt like your children were wayward, they were acting up, you couldn't control them. One of the boys is allegedly about 6'5", 6'4", somewhere in there, a very tall kid. So I could see possibly this child being into a grown-up, especially if the child was acting out, wayward, had become violent, punching holes in the walls, kicking, grabbing people. Then that means you needed to call DHS. And they place your child in a facility where your child can get some help. Juvenile facility. And then we already have heard horrible stories about juvenile facilities and foster care. So where are the children now? Because this story is 2 weeks old. Who has the boys now? What is the situation with DHS and now the parents? Will there be charges against the parents? What did they find in the house? See, all that's going to matter. And anybody wanting to speak on behalf of the parents, you're crazy just as well, because even if the children were wayward and acting up and lashing out violently, you still don't make them sleep outside. You call the authorities and Department of Human Services. When you realize you have no control over the child, you can't gain control over the child, the appropriate thing to do is to call DHS. Hey, I can't handle these kids. Hey, 911, I need somebody to come get this kid. Kids. But sleeping outside is inappropriate. It's hot in the summer, it's cold in the winter. And nobody wants to sleep in Detroit winter outside. The people who are homeless don't want to sleep outside in Detroit. What the hell would a child want to sleep outside? Oh, they wanted to sleep out there. You mean they've gotten accustomed to sleeping out there? They've gotten accustomed to sleeping out there. That's what you mean. Let's hear this other audio pertaining to these children. You will get a glimpse of one of the children in this said commentary. And he seems to be very polite in his commentary, which will make us wonder what is the truth about this case and these kids. I don't know.
Concerns about two teenagers who they say are living on the porch of a house.
That is all happening while the parents are living inside the home. Let's bring in Eric Erickson. And apparently police are now getting involved with this, right?
That is alarming, right? The parents inside, the kids on the porch, and it's cold. It's freezing. Take a look behind me. You can see the porch. There's some blankets out here. There's so many items that you're just like, what is happening here? We've been on the phone with Child Protective Services, Detroit Police, neighbors all day. They're relieved right now that the kids are just not out here for now. There's a toothbrush, glasses. There's a book. Phone. It's like what you'd find in a bedroom. It's been their bedroom, some say, since August. How long have they been on the porch?
Since summer. And that was like around my birthday. And that was like a long time ago.
We're talking about 2 young.
How crazy is that? He's coming out of the door. So that means he was there to answer the door. So where were the parents for the child to open the door to allow them out there? He says, oh, I've been out there a long time. Naturally, you're going to lose track of time because children don't usually keep up with time. They don't have any reason to keep up with time because they're children. So obviously he was in the house because it looks like he's standing in the doorway. So that's what's been said originally. Oh, they had assets to come in and out. They wanted to sleep outside. I don't know if I believe that. Why would I want to sleep outside? Summertime, maybe, but not winter. This kid is just gleefully talking to the news. Oh, it was months ago. I don't really remember, blah, 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 as if nothing's really going on. So are we missing something here? And the people who want to speak on behalf of the parents, one of the ladies that want to be seen on the camera, oh, isn't that a pity? Why? You're afraid the people will retaliate against you? Egg your house, shoot your house up because you're defending these parents? You have to be very careful about defending people when you really don't know what's going on. And the flip side of this is the obvious. If you look at this debris out here on the porch, they're stepping over that every day to walk out to go to a job if they work. Who can step over all that filth on the porch and get in their car, SUV? Please help the queen understand. You're a mother and a father, and you're going to step over all of this to get out your front door. So let me guess, you park in the back, in a garage, in the alley, what? Help the queen out now, because we already know that there are alleys in the city. So in most houses in Detroit have a garage in the back, a backyard and a garage. So what are you telling me? You park your car in the back and you exit out the back door to go get in your car so you don't have to look at this SHIT right here to step over. You're not worried about what the neighbor's thinking. You're not worried about the police, DHS, and you ain't worried about the church because you're a pastor. Help me, I'm drowning up here. But that's all right. I'm the pastor. I do what I want. The Lord said, let my children sleep outside. You don't know the truth. I don't got to know the truth. I know it's wrong, whether you have wayward children or not. There are places for wayward children. That's why you call the police, you call the state and say, hey, come get my kids. And I also want to address Detroit police. You all are pitiful. The laws up there need to change as far as what the police can do as far as civil situations, such as squatting. Everybody knows that Detroit has a heavy squatting situation. So anybody can just take over your house, whether you are living in it, it's abandoned, you're getting ready to rent it, which is soever. They just go in there, sleep, and now you got to go to court to try to get them out. So to me, that situation is no different than this situation here. Children sleeping on a porch, numerous calls made. How many calls were made since summer up until 2 weeks ago? Police saying, oh, we couldn't do anything about it. Oh, but you change your tune once the news come out because you know how that's going to look. And then your name is brought into the picture. Oh, Detroit police, they're not doing anything. Oh, the state, they're not doing anything. Now all of a sudden everybody wants to be on one accord. You're all trifling. Department of Human Services, you're trifling. And Detroit Police Department, you're trifling. And the laws need to change as far as a situation such as this. First time you got a call that children were sleeping on a porch and people told you that they had been watching it go on for months, you should have called DHS. You don't know about. Because if this is your behavior right here, this is a prime example, you ignored this for months. You've ignored other things going on in Detroit. As I just said, the squatting situation in Detroit. You got to take a person to court if they make their way in your house and just stay in there, don't want to leave. Or they live there for a minute and you're trying to evict them. Or they broke in and turned on power. Or they're just staying in your house, your property, your apartment. You got to take that person to court. And they can go on for damn near a year. So the bylaws in Detroit need to change. City government needs to be changed in Detroit. And the people complaining and bickering and bitching, that's your right. That's the only way you're going to get the laws changed. Let's hear the rest of this nonsense, everybody.
Young teens, children really, seen sleeping on this porch on Leslie Street near Dexter on Detroit's west side.
I ain't never done like that in my life. It's really a shame, isn't it?
They say they've called Detroit Police and Child Protective Services, but they've still been out here. Now on social media, video of them taken by independent journalist Mark DeAndre of 7 Mile Radio is going viral.
You sure you good, bro? I don't feel right leaving y'all out here, man. He popped out from under the cover, and, I tried to ask him if he needed help in any kind of way, if he needed money or want to go somewhere, even in my van, to warm up for a minute. He refused everything.
But some neighbors defending the parents, saying the kids were choosing to sleep outside.
There's some people who are saying, well, there's another side of the story.
So, like what?
Who's justifying this?
You'd be surprised.
You want to say
Exactly.
in their defense?
Exactly.
No, not taking the phone. The parents not home or refusing to come to the door. Hello? This letter from CPS Day, waiting for them.
This letter is to service verification that I came to your address today to discuss the CPS complaint received at our office regarding your children. Now, it appeared that Detroit police were out here last night. They say they are actively investigating this case and that it's a complicated one, adding that, quote, the department is deeply concerned over this situation and any evidence of negligence on the part of the parents will be thoroughly investigated and, if appropriate, referred to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. Now, we've been trying to get in touch with the parents, and we did, again, speak with Child Protective Services and the Detroit Police Department again. They say if you see a situation like this, call Detroit Police immediately. Trust your gut. Reporting live on Detroit's west side, Erica Erickson, Local 4.
And that is a new one, Erica. All right, we will stay on it and keep you up.
Okay, well, this is what makes no sense. You have the audacity to tell people to call police immediately if they see this type of behavior going on. Well, they did that. Allegedly, the neighbors did that. This Black man who works for a radio station, he heard about the story. He came to film to show evidence to the public what was going on. These children sleeping outside. And neighbors are saying this has been going on since summer. So for you to say to the public now, if you see something, call us. Well, they did. You ignored them. You ignored the phone calls. This is the reason why people are at odds with police departments, DHS offices. This is why we have such a problem. Monkey to stop the show. And in this case, we're dealing with two monkeys. DHS and Detroit Police Department. So what's the problem? You all are understaffed. Both agencies are understaffed. It's not a dead kid, no big deal. Well, as somebody said in the earlier video, if they continue to sleep outside, one of them would be dead. You're not going to be able to sleep in Detroit weather, honey, outside. I'll tell you that now. Trust me, Queen knows. Queen's been in Detroit. Queen stayed outside of Detroit for 5 weeks. Ain't no joke. And as most of you know, I grew up in Chicago, so the weather is the same. It's wrong. I don't care if the children are wayward. Big deal. A lot of children are wayward. What's your point? Because you should know that if you get angry at your child and lock your child outside, all it takes is that one time for somebody to hear your child banging on the door. Let me in, mommy, let me in. Nobody's going to care what your child did once they see your child outside. That's just the way it is. And you could actually have a wayward child, violent child. But the point is, seeing is believing. And this seeing has been going on for 4 months or so. So that's too long for children to be outside in inclement weather. And there's no way they could sleep outside when it's going to get below 0 in Detroit soon. And I can't believe that you will allow people to see these children sleeping on the porch and you're stepping over them to go in and out of the door. That's bizarre to me. But this just goes to show you don't know people. And then this man is allegedly a man of the cloth who lives in his home. So I'm wondering, is he the actual biological father? Or are these his actual children? Where is the female, the mother? Who are the parents of these children? What are they going to say pertaining to these boys sleeping outside? How many other children are in the household? How many children do they actually have? Do they have any other calls? Have they had any other calls made to their home pertaining to child abuse and child neglect? Anybody in the house with a criminal record? Child abuse, child neglect charges, accusations, allegations. Has the state been to this house before or any other residents with these parents? So you have to ask all those questions. That's what we're waiting to hear. That there have been other allegations, and then the state said they were unfounded. How about that? Is that what we're going to hear in this case? Unfounded allegations. And that's usually how children end up dead, from those unfounded allegations. Or the state came by several times, and then the child ends up in a very horrible situation, or deceased and or missing. And when you go back in the book of life, you'll hear some people chitter-chattering, oh yeah, they've been by a few times. Children still remain in the home, or children were removed, then given back to the parents. So are we going to hear that as well? The children have been out of their care. And then parents got them back, regained custody. What is the 411 pertaining to the adults of this address and these said children? And it's sad to see a child speaking to the news just nonchalantly, just no big deal. Oh, yeah, I've been out here a couple months. Don't really remember. I know it's a long time. That's sad. To where the child hasn't even kept up, that he's been outside on the porch for months. Christmas time. This is a time for cheer, gathering with family, eating food. We just came out of Thanksgiving. Just imagine what type of life these kids have had in their house. Holidays, probably no good holidays with these people. Don't know. And like I said, I'm not here to say what the children were doing and not doing. All I know is leaving them outside is not a good idea. It's never a good idea because anything can happen to a child sleeping outside. That's common sense. And that city is ridden with crime, inclement weather. It makes no sense. When I get an update to the story, I will bring you that said update. Thank you for joining me. Now we're going to talk about TikTok. Ooh, Lord have mercy. What a hot butter mess. I'm going to go to my community page. Check out my page for updates, breaking news. Once again, Hannah Kobayashi has re-entered the United States. Don't know where she is in the United States. California, Hawaii, don't know, don't really care. It's a bunch of nonsense anyway. Just a bunch of damn nonsense. Prayers for the children, teachers, staff, community in Wisconsin where there was a shooting at a school. Right now it says, as 17-year-old female student reports, shooter has been identified, and there were some deaths in that shooting. Okay. Let's see how you all weighed in on TikTok being banned. TikTok banned in the world. 40% yes, 40% no, don't care, 20%, 10 votes. 16 votes. TikTok banned in the US, 44% yes, 13% no. Wow, interesting. So we had 40% worldwide. You all voted no. Then 13% in the U.S. But it's about neck to neck for the U.S. and worldwide. 40% all over the world, and then 44% of you said, yes, we should ban it here. Then we've got 44% don't care if it's banned or not. Wow, interesting. Let's hear this nonsense pertaining to TikTok. It don't matter to me. I ain't on it. I ain't worried about it. It's not my platform. It's not. So Queen ain't worried.
And the clock is ticking on a U.S. ban of TikTok. The social media giant is fighting the law signed by President Biden in April that requires it to divest from the Chinese-based parent company ByteDance or be banned in the U.S. starting January 19th, 2025, less than a month away. Lawmakers argue that it's because of national security concerns. TikTok argues it has the right to free speech. If the law takes effect, U.S. app stores and internet services could face hefty fines for hosting the app and its updates.
That's what keeps it running smoothly. So after a certain point, if you're not getting updates to TikTok, it's basically going to stop working. So it is an opportunity for American companies to potentially step in and fill the void, but it's still, they're still facing scrutiny for other reasons too.
TikTok has now asked the Supreme Court to weigh in. New data shows 6 in 10 teens use TikTok every day, but they also adapt fast. Some are already making the move to similar platforms like Meta's Instagram story. TikTok ban does take effect in the next month.
All right.
We want to talk about this even further with some people who report on this each and every day, including Christine Moy at Politico and our friend, tech policy analyst John Swartz. You guys, thanks for being with us today.
So it went to federal court. This TikTok ban here in the United States, Biden has put his stamp of approval on the ban. Federal Appeals Court upholds TikTok ban in the United States. TikTok has until January 19th to sell their company to other entities outside of the Chinese. If not, it will not be allowed in the United States. So you have no access to it. You heard earlier, no updates. You don't get any updates. It'll be rendered useless trying to use the app. How do you all feel about this ban? United States is claiming that the Chinese have access to spy on us through the TikTok app. And as I have said to you all many times here on this network, that there have been many occasions that I feel like even this United States Facebook, which is now Meta, has the propensity to do the same, because there have been many times I've talked about something to someone over the phone, and then I would get a notification through Facebook or Gmail pertaining to the subject matter. And that's creepy. It's a very creepy coincidence to be talking about something to someone on the phone, and then all of a sudden you get a notification, or you're scrolling up your Facebook and you see an ad for something you were just speaking about on a private phone call. Stay woke now. So US, are you also spying on Americans? And we also have new information coming out pertaining to the Android phone and smartphone, that your text messages can also be decoded and viewed by hackers, I guess foreigners as well. I've been seeing that as well. What's the truth? So who's really spying on whom?
I just want to read from Christine's piece here. You say, and you report that in the ruling, the court and the DOJ that had said TikTok was a national security threat. In particular, lawmakers had warned that Chinese authorities could force ByteDance to hand over Americans' data or manipulate its algorithm to promote Beijing's interests. That has been the main primary concern all along here. Christine, first to you, though, what if you have TikTok on your phone already? Come January 19th, can you still use it? Will it work? Do you have to delete it, or don't we know?
So come January 19th, TikTok will not disappear off your phone if you have it already. How the law works is that it is enforced against the app stores. So companies like Google and Apple will face, potentially billion-dollar fines if they don't take TikTok off its platform. What that means for you, though, is that if you already have TikTok on your phone, it'll still work, and it's expected to continue to work for the next, couple months probably. But new users won't be able to download the app, and eventually it won't be able to update, which will kind of doom the app to a slow death.
Man, I'm so sick of
slow death. Very interesting. So if you have it, it should last a couple of months if you already have the app. Okay? But new users won't be able to download the app. How do you all feel about this information? Do you believe the Chinese will manipulate?
Asked too. It seems like this is just for, new downloads. Users won't be able to find it on some of these app stores on their phones here. But there's this caveat, and TikTok is wrestling with this part of the equation here. What if a company here in the United States buys it? Are any bids on the table? Because if that happens, if ByteDance divests TikTok and it is purchased by some U.S. subsidiary, what have you, it survives, right? All right, looks like, John, we don't have your audio, unfortunately. Christine, do you want to take that question? Maybe, John, you're muted.
Yeah, I can take that question.
Sure.
There are a couple businessmen who have indicated previously that they're interested in purchasing TikTok. One of them is Trump's own former Treasury Secretary, Stephen Mnuchin. He said as recently as the spring, he would like to put together a bid. Today, we caught up with billionaire Frank McCourt. He confirmed he's been assembling, and now he has assembled a group that wants to move forward with people.
Well, this guy working with Trump or whomever, where would you get that kind of money to buy TikTok? Help me understand. You got that kind of money? You got that kind of money? I'm just asking. Lord have mercy.
TikTok. Specifically, they're interested in TikTok even without its algorithm. So this has been a bit of a sticking point because Chinese law prevents TikTok's algorithm from being exported out of the country. But the big question is, will ByteDance ultimately let them? Because the company has also said previously that divestiture for them would be impossible, too technically and commercially complicated.
John, do we have you here?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It diverted to mute. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, it's interesting. We were just talking about the possibility. I mean, this is just like such a valued commodity, right? I mean, it's the popular go-to app for the younger generation. My son, for instance, who's 24 years old, swears by it religiously. So if there is a will, there is a way. The thing that always interests me about this and the connection to China is a total unpredictability of what's going to happen. There's so many other factors in play here involving the Trump administration in China. We've got this January 19th date. We've got the onus of the tariffs hanging over our heads. We've got these recent disclosures in a congressional hearing about something called Salt Typhoon, which is a breach of the telecoms data sources. There's something called the Bolt Typhoon, which is an attack or an exploration of attacking U.S. critical infrastructure that emanated through China, evidently. So we've got all these kind of factors in play, which kind of plays into this hostility between the two countries on the tech side. And what to me is even more interesting is where we find the tech companies in the middle, the big tech companies, because they're so dependent on mainland China and that region for their revenue.
Obviously, we have an incoming Trump administration on the horizon in just weeks here, and maybe there's some reporting out there to suggest, what may have led to this change of mind, Donald Trump, when it comes to TikTok, because in the first Trump administration, that is when this idea of a ban first gained traction, and this was highly sought after by members of the Trump administration, Trump himself. In an interview today on Fox with Larry Kudlow, Trump's incoming national security advisor, Michael Waltz, he said this about Trump. He wants to save TikTok. We absolutely need to allow the American people to have access to that app. but we have to protect our data as well here. Christine, is there any reporting out there to suggest why the about face by Trump?
I mean, that's the big question, right? Is Trump going to throw TikTok a lifeline? There's been reporting in the past about why he flip-flopped. Like you mentioned, he's the one who first pursued a ban against TikTok in 2020. One of his former top advisors, Kellyanne Conway, now advises for TikTok, and there's reporting about why he specifically flip-flopped when Congress was first debating the bill that, Jeffrey Goss, one of his donors, also has a stake in TikTok, a financial stake in TikTok. But Trump hasn't said anything on this topic. The ruling came out today. Yesterday was the day, today was the requested date by which both sides had requested a ruling. And yesterday, Trump actually posted, some of his statistics showing how, good his account's performance has been on the platform. Today, he hasn't said anything. We've reached out to his transition team, haven't gotten anything new on his plans. But, it's important to note that Trump isn't the only party here, right? There's also Congress, which fast-tracked this law. They felt very strongly about it. And all week I've been talking to Republican lawmakers who say that, if Trump dislikes the law, he needs to go through them.
I want to stop there. Feel free to finish watching. This is Fox. Well, why did Trump, or is Trump going to flip-flop and allow the app to remain in the United States? We will see. Naturally, if there's anything that he can gain from it, he would. But then people will say, well, you're being a hypocrite when you first wanted the app to be banned, if indeed there. So where does Mr. Trump stand on it? Will he allow the ban or not allow the ban? Because he will be the president. He is the acting president, not the acting president, but he has been voted in as president. And naturally, in 2025, he will get the official stamp again. How the hell that happened? But anywho, will he allow the ban to proceed or not? We will see. How do you all feel about TikTok at this point? Are you a TikToker yourself? Do you go to TikTok regularly? Do your children, friends get on there? I don't get on there regularly. I have a hard time getting on there. Just like right now, my own ex account is. They said there was some suspicious activity or something that they blocked me on my own ex account. I don't know if it's because I wasn't using it regularly or posting as I was a year or so ago. Well, that's my option. I don't have to if I don't want to. So I don't know. I don't really trust any of the apps, quite frankly. I don't trust any of these apps because they talk about any of them having the propensity to be hacked, such as YouTube, your Google account, Facebook. You hear a lot of people getting their Facebook accounts hacked, especially with strange people sending you, friend requests. They have infiltrated and pretending to be you with your stolen pictures. And that's just a dangerous situation because if you don't really know anything about hacking and how it works, it's no telling what these people are doing. Even on the date sites, it's also the same thing. They steal your pictures and put up a profile pretending to be you and writing, hey, how you doing? Oh, you're pretty, you're beautiful. It's wrong. And that's what we have to think about when we post pictures. We take a lot for granted with using these apps because when you post your pictures to Facebook, IG, YouTube, it's all the same. You're giving people a window into your world. And you may not think it's no big deal posting a picture of yourself or your pet, your dog, your house, your motorcycle, but it is a big deal. Because what do I always tell you? You are letting people in. You are giving people a window to look in, to peer in, to infiltrate. And a lot of you talk a lot on these apps, such as Facebook. I talk a little junk sometimes, but you have to be careful what you talk about, what you say. You're giving people a way in, not just a hacker, but a person who may want to do harm, physical harm. They know where you are, they know where you live, they know where you work, they know where you go to school. You have to think about those type of things. So when you're posting pictures with your university sweatshirt on, t-shirt, well, that person scrolling now knows where you go to school. God forbid you use your government name on your profile. Well, they now have your government name. So how long do you think it'll be before they can find out where you live? Not just hacking your personal information, such as trying to get into your bank accounts and things like that, social security number, but knowing where you live. So see, each type of person is different. You've got the person roaming the apps to look and find and try to flirt, do harm, and steal money, scam you. Then you got those that's hacking just for boredom. It takes all kinds. So nothing is privilege, you understand? Everything can be hacked. So you have to be careful. Accepting money from foreigners and people saying, oh, I want to send you a gift. You see that a lot in Messenger. I see it a lot on the date side. Hey, I want to gift you with some free money. I even Googled that about giving out your Cash App tag. And they were basically saying, we don't recommend you doing it, but they can't, steal anything from you with the Cash App tag. The only thing they would do is send you the gift and then say they made a mistake, and then you send it back. And then there would be funds coming out of your account, which is still, that's kind of strange to me too, about losing money from your accounts, sending money to the person, resending it back through Cash App. But anywho, you just need to be careful. And I had shared with you all a few years ago when I was covering the Quentin Simons story, and we were trying to, put up a petition about that case. And I was telling everybody to sign the petition pertaining to that case. My phone started acting up. It jumped screens when I went into the change.org. I believe that's what it was. It was change.org. And I went into the change.org, and it messed me up to where it booted me out of my own Google account. And I had the hardest time trying to get back into Google because naturally Google owns this YouTube. So I couldn't even get back in to navigate for the YouTube. And to me, hey, I didn't need nothing messing with my change. And I told myself, see, if you weren't on the YouTube, it wouldn't have even mattered. And that showed me right there that something was not secure with the apps. Because I'm assuming change.org is an American company. I'm assuming. If I'm wrong, I stand corrected. But why did I get booted out? Going in, trying to log in. And I think what it was, I was trying to use another name to sign on the petition. And maybe because I was using another name that wasn't the name, associated with, I guess, my Facebook account or Google account, whatever, it booted me out and jumped the screens and poof, locked me out of Google. So that told me something right there, how sensitive the app is and possibly other apps. And I also noticed I had issues with that same phone. That I ended up getting rid of that phone. I bought another phone, which is the one I'm using now. And even this phone, I believe it's the same type, same brand, LG, which this brand to me is horrible because it doesn't even wholesale good. It's still doing the same thing. Screen stalling. You hit the screen trying to jump to the next screen. It just sits still, won't do anything. Jumps in and out. I'm over it. Maybe I need to try a better brand of a phone. But I also know I have a problem, as I told Chris Storms, uploading to the Newsbreak app. The shorter my videos, the easier it uploads. But it seems like if I go 3 minutes or longer, because they give you a 10-minute window to upload content, anything after 3 minutes or so, it's like it takes forever. Hit the button, next, next, next. It won't even do anything. It just sits there. Screen just sits there. I don't have time for this nonsense. Taking too long to process the videos. I'm noticing that as well. So now he says, oh, I don't have any problems processing the videos, uploading process. I'm like, well, it must be my phone because this is weird. So it's like, okay, same issue. 2 separate phones, both same brand. LG is supposed to be a very good brand. What's the problem? I don't trust any of this stuff. I'm just going to be truthful. The computer, all of it. I don't trust any of it. I don't trust nothing that's online. As I was listening to someone talking about AI generated, going through certain things. I can't remember what the lady was talking about, but she was like, they might be an AI generated making decisions on accounts and things, and nobody's really even checking it to say yes or no. It's just a computer doing the check. I can't remember what the subject matter was about, but it made a lot of sense. That you're thinking maybe a human is looking at certain things on the internet, that how you fill out for certain things. and you're thinking somebody's going to be going through that information personally. Maybe it is AI generated. It's not even a human going through anything. And you hear companies even say that, oh, well, the computer lets us know when it's time for your bill to be due. And you're saying, oh, okay. So the computer said, as if the computer can't make a mistake. The computer's not real. The computer's not a human. And that's where people get a distorted view of the world, is when you start talking as if the computer is a human. Well, the computer said, and we looked at the computer, and the computer put the information in, and the computer said blah, blah, blah. They act like the computer is a real walking, living creature with 2 feet and 2 hands. It's not. So I don't trust any of this. Just like this computer, I've had this happen 2 times, even with this laptop. In the corner, it would have Messenger, and I might be on here doing something with YouTube, and then it'll make it look like I got a message over there in the box in the corner. So then I hit it, and poof, voila, the computer starts making this alarm sound like, the Russians are coming. You need to call blah, blah, blah to get this computer unlocked. Now, the first time, they didn't ask me for no money, but the second time, which was back in the summer, when the computer locked, they were asking me for money. Called the number, and it was like, oh, well, we need you to pay such and such, $60, $70, get the computer unlocked. And I thought, I'm not getting ready to pay nobody to unlock this laptop. I will take this MF and throw it in the damn trash can. I can still go into my phone and use the YouTube studio, to do the videos and do the commercials and all that stuff, even on the phone. Just the screen is smaller, that's all. Bad for your eyes. That's about it. But I still, so long as you got the YouTube studio, I can still do the same work. It's just on a smaller screen. But I told myself then, see, this is why you don't need to be messing with these computers. That's why I don't care for computers. Everybody's so in tune to them. Like, it's the spoken word, a computer. Everywhere you go right now, first thing they ask you is what? Do you have an email? The world can't even function without a damn email. And you can ask them, well, what do you need the email for? Oh, just so we can send you notifications and send you information, and you can get your bill statements through the email and blah, 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 blah. Everywhere you go, I don't care if you sign up to go to the doctor, a clinic, healthcare plan, you deal with the government, anything, I don't care what it is. Job, first thing they ask, do you have an email? Oh, you don't have access to a computer? Hell no, I don't. Why? Then people judge if you say you don't have a computer. Well, everybody don't have a computer. Everybody's not computer tech savvy. Don't want to be. I got this little dusty laptop that was a gift years ago, and I barely know how to use it. Don't care to. That's just who I am. Call me stubborn. I don't want to get wrapped up into this. Is there a benefit to the computer? To some degree, yes. The apps, some degree, yes. But the same thing that has a benefit also has a downfall, as you have seen. This little box here has caused many problems, fraud, hacking, apps, same thing. So what's the point of something that's supposed to be beneficial that can cause somebody to get my personal information and use it to their advantage? It's not. And it's not good for your phone either to have all those apps on there. Depending on what type of phone you have also determines how many apps you can store. Now, you have a smartphone, you probably can store a lot of apps. I don't think Androids allow you to store a whole lot of apps. I don't recommend it even if the Android will allow you to store a lot of apps. I just don't. I think it's a bad mix, having too many apps on your phone. Because naturally, if you shop a lot, you're going to have those apps on your phone. You're going to have like Amazon, Walmart, Kroger, this and that, your bank. But as I said, I believe it's a downfall to having all these apps on the phone. I don't recommend it. Because your storage gets full naturally. That's why you have to go in and clear out your cache, which mine is probably due for that. You need to clear your Gmail, your trash, all that. I think it helps to keep all that, down to a minimum. But that's my commentary. January 19th, ByteDance has to either sell TikTok or they will not be running in the US of A. And there are a lot of Americans who are TikTokers and use TikTok. We have a lot of adults that use it as well. They are content creators on TikTok, and I'm sure they will be devastated that it's gone. I could care less because I'm not on it. It don't make a big difference to me. I ain't lost nothing with TikTok. Because as I said, we have Facebook, we have YouTube, IG, then IG now has Threads. So there's always somebody coming up with some new way to talk and give information and chat. And then there's Snapchat. So it's not like the world's going to end because there's no TikTok. It's just a problem for the ByteDance because they own it. And then those who create it, who use, create content on there, and people who watch it, like going to TikTok to see what the people are talking about. But naturally, if it's banned in the US, they'll just find other apps to give their commentary on, such as I said, YouTube, Facebook. And most of those people that's on TikTok, they probably already have a following on YouTube and Facebook and IG already. It's just another source to make money. That's all. That's it. Somebody had asked me about getting on there a few years ago. I said, well, I didn't have any interest in getting on TikTok. I said, I do enough with YouTube and trying to keep up with YouTube. So trying to go over to TikTok, you're basically talking about a full-time job. If you're going to start bouncing around from app to app, bringing forward content, because it's a lot of work and people don't understand it. Blogging. You blog over here, then you blog over there. It's just, for me, daunting. Days I don't want to do neither. Either. And then people look for that, like, oh, you didn't bring an update to such and such. As I told people, I like freelance talking on my network. I'm not a true crime network. I didn't start it as true crime, and I don't really care to talk about true crime. I may bring you an update occasionally, but I don't want it to be the mantra for my channel. No, I don't like the true crime community that's here on YouTube, and I don't want to participate in it. I feel like there's other things I can talk about on my network because I'm a diverse person. And when I first came to YouTube, I talked about basically myself, things I was living and experiencing, not true crime. So that's why I want to take it back to how it was when I first came to YouTube back in the summer of 2019. I talk about everything because there's too many things going on in the world. You know what I'm saying? To just focus on one particular genre or subject matter. But that's my commentary. TikTok ban in the US coming soon. And 2 boy children are now allegedly with family as of 2 weeks ago who were sleeping on a porch in Detroit, Michigan. When I get an update pertaining to that story, I'll bring it to you. I doubt I'll get an update because if they're dealing with the state, you already know the state is not going to tell us anything pertaining to where the children are and what's going on with them. Wendy Williams has been spotted in Florida dining in a restaurant. Well, picking up food, rather. She was in the backseat of an SUV. Bystander says she looked healthy. So what is the state of her care, finances? Will her husband continue to try to sue her estate? The Guardian is suing A&E for exploitation, saying she only got $82,000. Many of us thought she got paid more money than that. So will she have access to her money or no? Will she continue to have this guardian? Did the family fight to get that woman removed as her guardian? What's the state of the guardianship? What's the state of her finances? Will she be able to live on her own? The lady says she is permanently impaired with this frontal lobe aphasia. So I don't know. Shooting in Wisconsin. I believe a teacher and a student are deceased. I'm trying to think of everything I've mentioned as far as updates. And also Hannah Kobayashi has crossed back into the United States. Family did not want to give information days ago, but now they say she crossed back over yesterday. LAPD, and she appeared to be fine, looking okay, looking healthy. And the case is closed pertaining to Los Angeles Police Department on her case, which I agree. Now, what's going to be the fallout? Will they try to ask her for monies for searching for her when she could have just told her family, hey, I'm doing me, I ain't trying to talk to you, and that'd be the end of the story? Was this a fraud exacted by Kobayashi and her family? Were they all in cahoots together to try to get money? They knew where she was going. She kept in contact with them. She had a burner phone. Don't know. Don't really care. because I don't trust them. And their attitude has been asinine towards Los Angeles Police Department. Then they try to flip it like, oh, yeah, well, we thank you for all you've done. But then yet you didn't want to believe that they said they had access to footage that she crossed over into Mexico. So it can't be both. You either believe what they said or you didn't. You can't tell people, oh, I thank you for your help, but I don't believe what you saw. That wasn't her. But now you're saying she crossed back over. So how's she going to cross back over if she never crossed into Mexico? It's a bunch of BS. And sadly, we have sick people out here who commit fraud. So see, we'll never know the truth. If there was a marriage fraud, which, as I said, that was her business. Whatever she agreed with another foreigner to be paid money to marry somebody, that was her business. And you would have never known about that had she not went missing, quite frankly. To me, that's a personal problem that don't concern Queen. I'm learning to just check out from certain things. And her case is one of them that was easy to check out from because I smelled bullshit. Absolute BS. And hopefully this woman, she won't be marrying nobody and won't be having no children either. Because there's something wrong with her. And I believe there's something wrong with her mama and the aunties. I think there's something wrong with a lot of these family members. And sadly, her father's no longer alive. Allegedly, they were estranged. Don't know what the hell the daddy had going on. And who knows what she knew about the father's death. If she knew that he had died or not, I don't know. But it is what it is. Happy holidays to everybody. Please check my community page for said updates pertaining to Sean Puffy Combs, Jay-Z, Gypsy Rose, as I brought you that commentary early Sunday morning. She and Ryan Anderson are now formally divorced. She's claiming she settled for him. She wasn't happy. She feared for her safety. She felt like he was going to become violent. Blah, 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 blah. The only thing they have to settle now is community property, but they are now divorced. So those are the latest updates. Wendy Williams, Sean Puffy Combs, still incarcerated, will not be seeking a bail attempt. He's been denied 4 times. Jay-Z wants his suit dropped because the girl has discrepancies in her allegations. Once again, Wendy Williams spotted in Florida. Kobayashi has now entered back into the United States. Where? Don't know, don't care. TikTok, January 19th, cutoff date. Or will Trump allow it to proceed? We will see. And young boys in Detroit are allegedly with family. That's all I got for you. Prayer and children community in Wisconsin where there was a shootings rather. I believe 2 people are dead. A teacher and a student. Just got that information earlier. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $Beganji 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. You all have a wonderful week. God bless you. Stay safe. And if you do see something, say something. Always remain anonymous if you fear for your own safety in a given situation. Please be aware of your faculties and surroundings while shopping, ordering online, and things you post on social media in general, and also now during the holidays. And also spread this information to your children because we lead by example. Children need to know that they cannot share every little detail of their comings and goings, what they purchased, what the family bought, because we do have people out looking to scheme, scam, rob. Also, make sure you have somebody to pick up your packages outside your property. If you're not going to be home, you're going to go out of town, you're going to travel, leave your lights on at all times. Outside, inside. Put them on a timer if need be. Do not let mail pile up, and don't let packages pile up, because that'll allude to the fact you're not home. And if you're not home, it's an indicator that a person can just push that damn door on in. Just saying. Hello, Tacos. Thank you for joining me. You all have a wonderful week. Once again, Married to a Baller and Crescent City are my 2 movies suggestions for the week. Pretty good movies. Check them out. Both on Tubi, free. And I also put up some movies that are going to be released in January. Some very good movies. One of them has Brandy in the movie, and I can't wait to see that one. I'm going to watch it. You can order it on YouTube if you like. Pay for it. And another one is going to be released in 2025. So just check my community page for upcoming movies and movies that you can watch now, either free or through Prime, Amazon, Apple, so on and so forth. You all have a wonderful week. Once again, please be safe. You have been listening to the Vault Excel. Thank you.